Okay, I'm going to call this regular city commission meeting to order on July 21st at 7 p.m. I'd like everyone to please rise for the prayer and the pledge of allegiance. We have Reverend Rooney here tonight.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Today, 1969, the very first person walked on the moon, Neil Armstrong. And as he took that first step, he had declared it a small step for a man, but a huge leap for mankind. Loving God, as we gather in this place this evening to make decisions, guard and protect our footsteps, that the direction we walk may be the right direction in accord with your holy will and for the good of the citizens of this place. Humbly we beseech thee to guide these your servants who are commissioned to make a decision. May the decisions they make be for the common good and the glory of your holy name. We ask this in the name of the one who gives us life, Jesus the Christ, who lives and reigns forever and ever.
Amen.
Thank you, Father. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Target.
Here.
Commissioner Mabry.
Here.
Commissioner Hendrick.
Here.
Commissioner Lovett.
Here.
Commissioner Melly is absent. Commissioner Simpson.
Here.
Commissioner Turner.
Here.
City Manager Levin. Here.
Moving on to communications, we have item 4A, which is a flyer from the Sheriff's Department. We have item 4B, which is some information about Challenge for the Future, Get Out the Vote initiative. With item 4C, Thomas Roykon. We have item 4D, which is Blue Ways of St. Clair. Item 4E, Friends of City Hall, and item 4F, which is pending agenda items.
Make a motion to approve communications as presented.
Support.
Motion support. Any discussion on these comments?
We have,
Just a quick one, I went through and did a thing on our pending items. I think we were including a TIFA presentation for a webpage and a blog.
What was it again? Can you repeat that?
TIFA presentation for a webpage and a blog.
Anything else? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Accepted and filed. Moving on now to the public comment portion of the meeting.
Excuse me, Mayor, we have two presentations this evening. The sheriff is here to present, as well as the students for the Challenge for the Future,
As part of the communications.
part of communications.
Okay. So we'll start with the sheriff.
If you'd like them to present first, I'm fine with that.
Well, you were first on the list, so we'll just go on order.
Okay. That's going to take 15 minutes or
It's fine.
so. Okay.
They'd probably like to hear it.
I don't know about that. Do my best. First off, my name is Under Sheriff Tom Buckley, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm the Under Sheriff in the county. Been with the Sheriff's Office for just over 26 years. During my time with the Sheriff's Department, I did spend 2 tours with the Drug Task Force as a deputy and one as a supervisor. So I'm here to talk about the Drug Task Force in the Village tonight. It's kind of near and dear to my heart. I do have some experience with that, so hopefully I can answer any questions that might come up. I'd like to thank the board for having me here tonight. Let me take up some of your precious time on your agenda. And I'd like to thank Lieutenant Hessel up there for allowing me to come in and present tonight. You know, we have a great working relationship with the Mariine City Police Department, and he's been a great help. For the board, I'm very flexible here. If you guys have any questions, please stop me. Sometimes we get to the end and we ask questions. We're trying to figure out what part we're talking about. So if there are any questions from the board, please feel free to stop me. I do have a PowerPoint. I'll try not to have death by PowerPoint here tonight. I really actually don't use it very much, but we'll go through it a little bit. As I said, the reason I'm here is the St. Clair County Sheriff's Office is asking for a millage renewal and increase this August on our drug task force. I'll go into the specifics here very shortly, but as a perspective, in a historical perspective, the drug task force was established in 1985. In 1980s, the early 80s, the country and the county were all kind of caught up in this crack cocaine epidemic. And it swept up from Detroit in the early 80s. And there were three people that got together to talk about how St. Clair County could fight this problem we had. One of them was Sergeant Dan Lane, who later became the sheriff of the county. The other one was Jim Goldsworthy, who was the principal at Fort Huron Northern High School. And the third one was Lee Masters, who was the township supervisor in Wales Township. And they were all involved in the community, looking at the problem. They said, how can we do this? The sheriff, who was a sergeant at the time, realized we can't have patrol officers handling this problem. Drug investigations are too in-depth. It's hard to pull somebody off for an hour or two to work on a drug investigation, then have them go back and take regular complaints. Just like today, back then, they were stretched thin, so it was hard to get somebody in uniform to do that kind of job. So Jim Goldsworthy, being in the school district, he knew school districts, when they need money, what do? They run a millage. So the three of them got together and proposed that we run a countywide millage to fund additional officers to work on the drug problem that was that occurred in the county, or was happening in the county at the time. So it was established in 1985 after that millage passed. We are one of two millage-based task forces in the county, in the state. Us and Sanilac County are the only two in the state. The reason I bring that up is it's beneficial and advantageous for us to have a millage to fund us. So we don't have to worry about things like forfeiture or like that to try and fund our operations. With the millage funding our operations, we can chase drugs. We don't have to chase money. So it's very advantageous for us to have a millage that funds our operations as opposed to things like forfeiture. As I said, it was first established in '85. The millage comes up every 4 years on the presidential cycle. It's passed every year, usually overwhelmingly, 2-1, historically. And we had not asked for an increase in the 30 years it's been in effect. Right now, it's a 0.28 to 1 mil, very small millage. If you take a home in the county that has a value of about $100,000, so a $50,000 state value, it costs about $14 per year for that taxpayer. What our proposal is to increase that to 0.56 mils to $28 a year. Yes, it is double what it is now, but comparatively speaking, it's still a relatively small millage. And you know, it's easy for me to say, but in my opinion, it's good use of our tax money. What the millage currently pays for, staffing-wise, is 1 lieutenant, 1 sergeant, 5 deputies, and a Port Huron police officer. We do have 2 Border Patrol agents, 1 Border Patrol Air Marine, and 1 U.S. Customs agent assigned to our unit. We pay for some of the equipment and the training that they get, but the federal government pays for their salary. We also pay for a secretary there to handle our paperwork, and we pay for 1 assistant prosecutor to handle the cases that flow from the drug task force to the prosecutor's office. And this is the reason. Last year we sent the prosecutor's office about 340, not quite 340, 325, 327 cases, felony cases, and just over 200 misdemeanor cases. The chart here shows what we've had for the past 3 years, and our caseload has steadily increased over the past 3 years. We execute search warrant and traffic stops. Those are kind of the culmination of any drug investigation. We're trying to get a search warrant, we're making a legal traffic stop to try and arrest the person who's selling drugs. This chart shows over the past 5 years the exception of 14 where we had a lot of traffic stops, it's been pretty steady. We do average about 100 search warrants or traffic stops a year. The drug game is dangerous. You know, with the exception of 2014 where we had a large seizure in Ira Township, we seize about 60 guns a year. So if we do about 100 search warrants or traffic stops, seize 60 guns a year, about 6 in 10. Every 6 search warrants in 10, we find a weapon of some sort. What makes St. Clair County a really great place to live also makes it difficult and challenging for law enforcement to handle some of the drug issues. You know, we have a beautiful county with beautiful waterways, but that's an international border. We sit between two impoverished cities, Flint and Detroit. We got 69 coming from Flint. We got a lot of drugs flow from there, and actually 69 is a well-known corridor all the way from Texas where drugs flow across the border into Texas and then up to Michigan. We got 94 that flows from Detroit back and forth. And then we've got stuff that comes across the border. Not seen a lot of border activity over the past few years. What we used to see mainly was high-grade marijuana coming across the border from Canada. Since medical marijuana became law in Michigan, that's kind of slowed down a little bit, but there are still challenges to the border, having that liquid border. The reason we're really considering asking for an increase in the millage is the way the drug world has changed over the past few years. With prescription drug abuse, heroin, and methamphetamine, our force is really stretched thin. Our people, you know, we have a limited amount of people. It's not like a traditional police agency where you have a day shift that comes in the morning, works during the day. At 3 o'clock they go home. The afternoon shift comes on at 3 o'clock and takes over what they were doing. We have one shift. They have to cover 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it gets a little tough, especially with what we've seen over the past few years with the heroin and methamphetamine. I'm going to talk about heroin a little bit later, and heroin is definitely the largest public health risk, but methamphetamine is the largest public safety risk. I say that because it's not just the person that's involved with methamphetamine and the production of it. You know, you and I could be living our lives, we're following the rules, we're not violating any laws, living in our home, we got a nice backyard, we're out in the back hanging out, and we got a meth lab next door that we don't really know about. While that's cooking and going on, it's off-gassing a lot of chemicals, and worst case scenario, if that were to catch fire, it could catch our house on fire. So we got people that are living their lives just trying to be good Americans, and they got a meth lab next door, they don't even realize it, there's potential danger there. In addition, methamphetamine investigations are very costly. We had to send all of our drug task force officers and most of our special response team members to Quantico, Virginia to learn how to deal with meth labs. We started getting so many of them. State police said, we can't afford to come to St. Clair County all the time like we are. So we sent our people there. Federal government offset a lot of the cost. We still had to pay their salaries while they were gone for 2 weeks at a time. And this unfortunately took multiple schools. They had to go 2, 3, 4 different times to get the proper training on how to dismantle, decontaminate, and package up a meth lab and its components. After that, we have the investigation, which can take several days or weeks, depending on what the situation is. And then when we actually execute a search warrant on a meth lab, we have to have 6 people minimum. We got to have 2 or 3 that are dressed in the Tyvek suits and respirators to go in and actually dismantle the lab, take everything out. We have to have somebody there documenting everything that comes out for court purposes. And then we have to have another person there putting everything into containers and packaging it up so it can go. And then we have to have security people there because we can't have these people with their heads down working on their job without somebody watching their back. So whenever we have a meth lab, it takes about 6 people to properly dismantle it. And if you remember back a few slides, we're only got about 8 or 10 people on any given day. So when we have a meth lab, it really just sucks all our resources in there. Yes, ma'am?
The question is, I know this has been the meth lab's in a home, then it contaminates that home. And so far, they haven't made any movement to notify a person if they buy that home that's had one in it. Do you know if there's any changes coming to that?
I
Or is
don't.
there any way for a person to find out if their home had been a,
Well, it should be something that is disclosed to a potential buyer. We notify the county health department, they red tag the houses. Various cities and townships have different procedures for doing that. And I know in Port Huron Township, they board it right up and they don't let anybody inside until it's been decontaminated and cleaned. This is really the big problem we've had over the past few years. You know, if this chart went back a couple more years, it would get down to 0. Back in 8, 9, 10, if we found 1 in the county every year, it was strange. Most of the methamphetamine was brought in from Texas or the southwest area of Mexico, places like that. But the one-pot method for methamphetamine production became popular and very easy to do. So there's a lot of people in this county that are doing it. Kind of I hate to sound, I know this is really doom and gloom, and it's not the entire county, but the state of Michigan in 2015 became the highest highest meth lab producing state in the nation. That's a stat from the DEA the last time our guys were at training. And this chart here shows the amount of methamphetamine we've seized over the past few years. As you can see, it's gone up dramatically to over 400 grams last year. When I left the Drug Task Force back in 2007, was the last time I was there, crack cocaine was our biggest problem. Still was, and it still is. We're just starting to see pills come onto the scene a little bit, but over those past few years, prescription drug abuse has become a huge problem. As the slide shows, it normally starts with people being given prescriptions by their doctor for some legitimate purpose. After a while, they're hooked on that, but their doctor won't give them the prescription anymore. So they've got to go find somewhere else to get that. They go to the street. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, opiate pills can be very expensive on the street. They're usually $20, $30, $40, up to $50 for each pill, depending on the dosage and the potency. So what happens is we've seen prescription drug abuse seizures actually go down over the past few years. It sounds like a good thing. Unfortunately, they turn to heroin. Heroin is a very similar drug to the opiate pills that they're addicted to. Heroin is very much cheaper than the prescription pills themselves. You know, what they were spending $50 on to get that pill, they can get high for about $10 or $15. So it's a very easy switch from that prescription pill to heroin. And we've seen heroin use just go through the roof over the past few years. This is our seizures over the past few years. We had a dip in 14 for some unknown reason, but in 15 it jumped up. And I think I know that when we have the 16 stats in, it's going to be even higher this year. Cocaine and crack cocaine are still a problem in the county. It's not something that went away. Different users, different drug of choice. So it's still something we deal with every day. If you look at the past few years, our cocaine seizures have gone up to over we had 444 grams seized last year. So it's still a drug that we have to deal with daily. We do still have to deal with marijuana. We know medical marijuana is law in the state of Michigan, and we understand that. We're not legislators, we're enforcers, so we don't deal with that part of it. But even though medical marijuana is legal in Michigan, there are still people who are violating that law, and it does take manpower away from the other investigations we have going on. It's not our priority by any stretch of the imagination. As you can see, our seizures have gone down over the past few years. When we receive a complaint of large grow operations, I'm talking hundreds of plants that are way outside the scope of medical marijuana, we do an investigation, and if they're violating, we do enforce that law, but it's a low priority because of methamphetamine and heroin and still crack cocaine. I spoke before about heroin and saying it's the biggest health risk in the county right now, and it's bringing death to this county. We have overdoses on the increase. Over the past few years, they've gone up dramatically. We did see a dip in 2015, and that's because Narcan became prevalently used in the county by EMS providers and first responders. Last year, we used tri-hospital numbers. They're not the only service provider in the county, but they're the largest. In 2014, they used Narcan 218 times and 312 times in 2015. If you combine that with 48 overdose deaths that occurred in 2015, that's nearly an overdose a day. So those 312 times that they used it, I'm not going to say that would have been 312 deaths had we not had Narcan, but there is the potential for that. Those were on overdoses, so 360 between the deaths and the Narcan applications, we had 360 overdoses in 2015. The chart here shows this is from the medical examiner's office in St. Clair County. This is strictly drug-related deaths. This is no deaths from any other reason. And if you look at 2014, which, whoops, a little quick there. 2014, which was the worst year for drug-related deaths over 60, 34 of those were strictly from heroin. So more than half of the drug-related deaths we had in St. Clair County were heroin overdoses. People ask me, what does my tax money do? When it goes to the drug task force, where does it go? Why have I not seen these big drug busts in St. Clair County? And that's because they're a very hard-working crew, but they're a street-level narcotics unit. You're not going to see us headed to Texas on the border trying to stop that. We're not going to be down in Colombia trying to arrest a cartel. We have big seizures now and again, but we really focus on the neighborhoods. We're a street-level enforcement team. We try and get in the neighborhoods and stop the drug dealers that are occurring in our neighborhoods and our streets. We work hard every day to get those drug dealers off the streets and try and make it a safer place. So how can anybody help? If you have information, you can contact the Drug Task Force. We have a toll-free number, 1-800-243-DRUG. You can remain anonymous. Contrary to popular belief, we don't have caller ID on those lines. You can give your name if you wish, but you don't have to. And the tip you leave may lead to a drug dealer being taken off the street, a potential life saved. And I don't say that tongue-in-cheek because it is really true with the heroin we have. We can save lives by arresting these drug dealers. The August millage vote, which is the reason I'm here. August 2nd, on the primary ballot, there is a countywide millage vote for the Drug Task Force. It's being asked to be raised to 0.56 mils. As I said before, it's about $28 per year. It's about 8 cents a day. I hate to sound like that guy in late night TV. For just 8 cents a day, you could save a life. Well, that's what it works out to, is about 8 cents a day for somebody who owns a home about $100,000. We definitely need your help more than ever. Things have changed. As I said before, Michigan is the largest amount of meth lab seizures in 15. Almost one overdose per day. And really, that 8 cents a day equals boots on the street. The sheriff and I have been talking about this for almost a year now, trying to decide, should we do it? Will we do it? If it passes, how are we going to handle this? And our plan is to increase the staffing level. You're not going to see the sheriff driving a fancy new car or me driving a new car. We're not going to buy weapons or tanks with it. This is going to go to staffing and the equipment they need to do their job every day. The second time that I was assigned to the Drug Task Force as a deputy sheriff, I was assigned to a unit that worked the south half of the county. Me and two other guys were assigned to anything south of Mariine City and south. Unfortunately, with the population hub that we have in the Port Huron Township, Fort Gratiot area, that's where a lot of the work is. I can't remember a day where I actually had a full 8 hours in the south half of the county. We were constantly being called saying, hey, we need help up here. We've only got 3 guys today. We need 1 of you. We need 2 of you. So we were constantly being pulled up to that part of the county. And to a certain extent, rightly so, that's where a lot of the problem is. We track statistics at the Drug Task Force for almost everything. One of the stats we track is, where are the people we're arresting coming from? Are they all Port Huron residents? And most of them are, a lot of them are, but we have people from all areas of the county that are going to Port Huron to buy their drugs. So while that's a Port Huron problem, what happens up there, it's a problem for all of us because our residents, our people are going up there and buying their drugs. So It's important that we work there, but it's also important that we cover the other areas of the county. You know, this is a countywide millage, it's supposed to be covering the entire county. So if the millage is approved, the plan is to increase our staffing to an area where a level that we can have a group of officers working that Port Huron area that does take so much time and effort, but another group that can be pulled away from Port Huron to work in Mariine City, to go to K-Pac or Yale or Ira Township, wherever the need might be, and not have to be pulled to Port Huron Township to go supplement those officers that are working there. So if we are lucky enough to have the citizens increase our millage, that's our plan. We're going to increase our staffing levels to that area. We're not going to increase our administration there. We're still going to have one lieutenant. We'll have 2 sergeants, one for each team, so they can have direct supervision when they're out working. But we're going to increase the officer level so that we can have 2 teams to work there. I really appreciate coming tonight, or letting me come tonight. I appreciate the citizens being here and indulging me, I guess, to let me go through this presentation. I know one of the things that keeps coming up, and I completely understand it. I'm a taxpayer in the county as well. Why should we give more tax money? Why should we give more tax money? You know, I live in East China School District. I live just north of St. Clair. We had the most recent millage. It was shot down. I believe that some people thought that they already, you know, they may not be the best stewards of the money. I'm not going to get into whether right, wrong, or indifferent. I think a lot of people thought that way. I can tell you, stand here today, look you in the eye, and say that this money that we use for the Drug Task Force is one of the best uses of your tax money today. Every single penny is accounted for on a daily basis. We track overtime, constantly looking at the sheets, what the guys are working on, why they're working overtimes, to make sure that they're not wasting it. When anytime anything is purchased, comes across my desk, there's several questions I ask. Can we borrow it from somebody else? Can we get it on a grant? Do we really need it? What are we going to use it for? If they can't answer those questions, I'm not approving that purchase. So that money is accounted for to the penny constantly. It's watched. I watch it like a hawk. The sheriff watches it like a hawk. The administrators there watch it. It's a small millage. It generates about $1.5 million a year. Sounds like a lot of money when you're putting 10 or 15 people out there. It gets eaten up pretty quick, so we really have to be careful what happens to it. So if people have a question as to, you know, are you using it well? Yes, I think we are.
Do you have information online anywhere?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a website or?
We have a lot of information on our county Facebook page. It's hard for us to put information on our actual county page because it's administered by our IT department. But we can put stuff on our Facebook page pretty quick, so we put a lot of information on there. I do have some flyers that I'm going to hand out as soon as they get here. They're bringing them.
You collect, do you have it broken down by municipalities at all?
Yes.
As far as, you know, is that available somewhere
Yes.
on
Yeah,
Facebook?
I can send that to you.
All right.
We haven't put that information on the Facebook page. It's a ton of information. We break down our search warrants by location. We break down our arrests by location. We do monthly statistics that we turn in, or they turn into us every month. We do a quarterly report to the media on our stats. All that information is given to the Times Herald.
Well, if you could get that information to us,
Absolutely.
that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Yep, I can send it to you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Terry.
Can you make any discussion on correlation between the drug busts and the level of crime that is caused by people buying this material? We have to assume it's probably pretty expensive for people, so they find other ways to finance it.
Absolutely. We have one of the best substance abuse treatment programs in our jail. So when people come into jail, if they're abusing a substance of any kind, whether it be alcohol or cocaine or whatever it might be, they go into their substance abuse treatment program. So we can track numbers. I don't have them with me, but a large percentage of the people that are serving time in the county jail, it might be for shoplifting, it might be for breaking and entering, it might be for drunk driving, but there is, for most of them, there's a drug nexus. They've had They're either hooked on some drug or using it. It might be the direct cause of the law that they violated, but a lot of times it's ancillary. They were breaking into a house to steal the TV, to sell the TV, to buy drugs. They were breaking into their own family's house to do that. It's a sad story, but there is a direct correlation between the crimes they commit and drug use.
I'm just thinking that it might be an added thing to put in your pitch here, because it is important to us. We look to the police for protection. This is the kind of protection that we're happy to have.
It's not something that we can promise anybody, but more if we have less drug users, we might have less crime. If we have less drug users, less crime goes with it.
We certainly thank you for an excellent presentation and a lot of good information. And our particular concern here, of course, is Mariine City. I mean, it's certainly the big picture, and Port Huron is certainly a bigger area. But several years ago, we had a dedicated officer in this community undercover, and really began to make, from what I understand, some inroads into the drug culture here. And that really, is a concern to this community. So, and that was taken away from us because you have the bigger drug force. So I really think that the people of this community would like to have a solid commitment that, Mariine City will be included more in this dealing with the drug problems.
Well, Mariine City is certainly not excluded. It's really a matter of manpower and ability to work. There's only 24 hours a day, and they only work like I said, there's only one shift. So it's hard to do that, and that area does suck up so much of our resources. But that is our plan, that's our commitment to the people and to the other communities in the county, is that we'll have that other team that can focus. I can't tell you that they're going to work in Mariine City all the time, but we will have that ability to have them in other areas of the county. One team can focus on the problems in Port Huron, but we will have that other team that can be in other areas.
Can I ask a question? You stated how 34 deaths in 2014 from heroin.
Yes.
Just a fact so people know, 2 of those deaths were in Mariine City from heroin overdoses. So it is a problem here, and we do need somebody here.
Heroin is, like I said, it's the biggest public health risk. We have people dying from it, overdoses almost every day in the county, just in our county.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
And good luck with your millage request.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to the challenge 4 for the future, Get Out the Vote initiative. I wasn't going.
Where do you want that? Yeah. Is that all right? This is just for TV. Okay. No, you can sit right there. I'm Gary Coes, the Mariner Theater on Water Street. Over the past year, we've been involved with the Riverview High School and the St. Clair High School, working with the kids and whatnot. And out of that program, we were contacted by the St. Clair County RESA, Regional Educational Service Agency, to ask us if we would like to participate as a company in a program, an experimental program in project-based learning this summer. They had extended invitations to students throughout St. Clair County and teachers, and the idea was to pair up 5 students randomly with 2 teachers randomly and put them together with one of 8 companies. And we were asked if we'd like to be one of those companies. And our challenge was to give them a problem to solve for our company. And I said, sure, we'll do it. We'll be happy to do it. And after we got approved, I went back and I kind of changed it up on them. I said, if this is out of the box thinking, and it's a whole new approach, we don't really need the help in our company. We'd like to give them something much bigger, and much more meaningful, and something real that they can sink their teeth in. And we said, we'd like to challenge them to creating a program to have the highest voter turnout in the state of Michigan this November for Mariine City. And if they're able to do that, they theoretically could actually have a national record for the highest voter turnout. Well, the people of RISA got very nervous, and they said, "You're out of your mind? I mean, that's a little over the top, isn't it? I mean, do you really think these high school students can do a program like that?" And I said, "Yeah, I do. I think high school kids can do a lot more than you think, and maybe that's part of the problem with education today. Maybe you got to challenge them more than they're being challenged in different ways." So finally, they approved it and agreed to it. So then we went and we met our two teachers. Well, they looked at us like, oh yeah, they want to fill more seats at the theater and whatnot and this and that. And I could see some real apprehension on the part of the teachers. And then we told them, no, it has nothing to do with the theater. Here's what we want to do. And they kind of lit up like firecrackers. Really? We're going to do that? Yeah, we're going to do that. Then we met our kids, randomly picked, and we said, here's our challenge. And they kind of looked at one another and said, really? We got 2 weeks to do this? I said, yep, and you're going to win the competition. That's number one, so let's put that out of your mind, because this is way, way bigger than the competition. So 2 weeks, 8 o'clock in the morning, on a nice summer afternoon during vacation, they would show up at the Mariner, and they were there till 3 and after 3. And thank you to their parents for bringing them there and picking them up, because that obviously was a big deal. Because you see, 2 of the students came from Marysville, and 3 came from Algonac. So consequently, they all bought into it. They all said, yeah, we're going to do this, and they won the competition. They each won a $1,000 scholarship, and quite frankly, they knocked the socks off the judges. After they were done, it was just stunned silence. I'd like to introduce you, first of all, to our 2 teachers. And they're here tonight. Karen Westrick from St. Clair High School. And Karen is an out-of-the-box teacher. We love her. She's absolutely what every teacher should be. However, because of our other teacher who was present, we called her the librarian. Our other teacher was Monty Afraidy, and he's right here from Riverview High School. And every morning it was the wacko and the librarian. And they kind of met in the middle, and it was fun. Let me introduce our students. And we'll start with our ladies first. Sarah Frizzle from Marysville. Jade Schwark, and Julie Schwark from Algonac. Alina DeVogue, and she's from Algonac. And Dylan Posniak from Marysville. So with that, I'll let them do their presentation, and I would say if you've got any questions afterward, you're free to ask them. But I'd like to tell you I feel like a proud father tonight. And I am. I do feel that way. But man, it was like I'm part of a gang. Because these guys are, and the 2 teachers, it was one of the greatest experiences I think I've ever had in my adult life. And with that, I turn it over to them.
What's our nation's problem with democracy? You see, our nation is very special because of that one word, democracy. Democracy gives us the right to vote for our elected officials. No, the obligation to vote for them. Let's take a boulder, for example. Big, strong, and together. After a while, the boulder starts to break down. All of a sudden, it's not the biggest or the strongest, and now it's in pieces. You see behind me my group representing the weathering of our boulder, the United States of America. With blindfolds over their eyes and duct tape over their mouth, The duct tape represents the silent majority who don't voice their opinions by voting for the elected officials they believe should be in office. Now you're probably wondering, why the blindfolds? Because they are actually blind to the damage they are causing to America's greatest creation, democracy. Apathy is not an option that yields success.
Hello, my name is Alina DeVode, and I'm a student at Algonac High School. The business we were working with was the Mariner, located in Mariine City and owned by Mr. Gary Coase. He restored the old theater back into working condition and now houses the world-famous model of the Titanic. Our challenge was to see if we could set a state and/or national record for the highest percentage of voter turnout for Mariine City residents in the November election. Gary gave us this challenge because he is unhappy with politics and people not taking advantage of the power given to them through democracy. So we came up with solutions of working with local businesses and local schools to educate the voting community. There are 6 phases of our campaign that are highlighted today. Phase 1 of that campaign is online marketing. Using the internet is a great source for people to get information and get your information out there. So we actually spoke with the founder of Restyle Marketing, Kyle Kruger, and he said, get a website and to get on social media. So that's exactly what we did. We have a website. It's live now. It's yourcityyourvote-marinecity.com. You can access it through QR codes like found on the back of our t-shirts or, table toppers all around. The website is really great for people to get directed to for information. And you can actually connect it to our social media. Social media is really great. It's a great tool. We use that. We use Twitter and Facebook. Twitter is great for just getting lots of people to see things. We actually used Twitter to contact the famous YouTuber Tyler Oakley. And we told him about our campaign, and he loved it. He thought it was a great idea. And because of that, and his response back to us, over 5 million of his Twitter followers had the potential to see that. That's a crazy amount of people. Our Twitter page is also accessible through QR codes, and our Facebook pages as well. Facebook is a great place for people to share things and interact. So it's really just a thing we wanted to be a part of. The mayor actually said that the city Facebook page gets more hits than the city website. So we wanted to be a part of that. And we can actually connect our Facebook page to the city page, and so that's something we want to do.
Hello, I'm Dylan Posniak. I go to Marysville High School, and this is phase 2 of our campaign. These table toppers that you see up here are already promised to be on over 350 tables in local businesses in Mariine City. Now, they also have our QR codes on them, on which if you scan them, it'll either take you to our website, our Twitter page, and or our Facebook page, depending on which one you scan. Now, they actually advertise the 3 things that we are trying to do. We're trying to break 3 different records. The first one, a Guinness record, the most pumpkins carved simultaneously. Second, also a Guinness record, the longest string of popcorn, which also happens to be connecting 2 countries. And the last, the most important of them all, which the first 2 are only bringing everyone together to make it a focus point. The highest voter turnout in the city, which we will make, and it will be out of the nation. We also have the Times Herald, The Voice, and EBW moderating a debate between the candidates on September 22nd at the Washington Life Center.
Hi, my name is Julie Shork, and I'm from Algonac High School. Phase 3 of our campaign, local involvement. The main reason of this project is to bring Mariine City together. We want to bring unity into this community, and to do so, we need our community's help. We have the city commissioner, city manager, city clerk, the mayor, 3 school districts, and local businesses on board with us right now. In fact, in just 4 hours of pitching an idea to 25 businesses, 100% of them are ready to advertise and sponsor our project. Of course, this number will increase as the other 200 businesses in Mariine City are still being contacted. Inside the businesses, we will put these signs on their windows to inform people about the 3 records and how to get more information by going on the website or scanning the QR code provided. We will also put information stations in a number of Mariine City businesses. And then we will put voter registration form, city clerk contact info for the absentee ballot, and 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 flyers with bios of local candidates. These will be stacked as needed by contacting the Mariine Theater.
Hello, my name is Sarah Frizzle and I go to Marysville High School, and phase 4 of our campaign deals with advertising. We'll be using 2 street banners located at the north and south entrance of town that will display our slogan and URL for everyone to see. We will also be having 6 vertical flags placed strategically across town so you'll see one no matter where you are. Our graphics on our street banners will also be placed on our yard signs that will be scattered throughout the city also. They will all be placed approximately 6 weeks before the election, and they are all going to be donated by a local sponsor.
Hi, my name is Jade Schwark and I'm a student at Algonac High School. So phase 5 of our campaign is rallying the community to vote. So we knew that there was approximately 3,300 registered voters in Mariine City, but we wanted to find out who wasn't registered so that we could target those houses before the registration deadline. I took the time to cross-reference the Mariine City tax base with the voter registration list, and that number ended up being 214 people. So using that information along with the registered voters list, we wanted to get the Mariine City High School, Cardinal Moody, and Riverview East High School students involved. I was able to talk to all 3 principals, and they are willing to offer community service opportunities to their students. Our plan is to have 2 groups. The first group would go out from September 21st through October 11th, which is the registration deadline, and they would target the houses of the unregistered voters to hand out information about how to register and also hand out information, the voter registration applications. Our second group would go out from October 29th through November 6th and canvass all the houses of the registered voters to hand out information about the candidates that are up for election, absentee ballot information, and also why it is important to vote. Now you may be wondering, how would we get high school students to volunteer for such a project? Well, I was able to talk to the Mariine City principal, Suzanne Sabula, about the possibility of offering a community service honors cord. Students would have to complete a certain amount of community service hours to receive the cord for graduation. She absolutely loves the idea and is already looking into details about how to get this cord for next year. Another way that we wanted to get schools involved was through their sports programs. We talked to the Mariine City football coach Ron Glodich and athletic director Chris Ming, and they both agreed to allow us to put information about the candidates up for election in their sports flyers for people to read while watching the games. They also allowed us to put our campaign signs on their school gates and building.
So then comes the last phase of our election day. It's a big day, and so we're offering services like transportation for high school students and senior citizens, people who can't make it to the polls.
Hot dogs, donuts, and hot chocolate will be provided to those with I voted stickers.
Voters will also be given business coupon card. Businesses who advertise and sponsor for us will be asked to provide a coupon. This will not only benefit the voter by saving them money, it will also benefit the businesses by bringing in more customers.
Extended lunch hours will also be available for employees to vote.
Now, no matter what happens here today, this is happening. My team and I are still going on and helping this community. Now, you're probably wondering, what does this even have to do with Gary and the Mariner? See, Gary's a smart man. Gary knows a strong local government means a strong community. A strong community means strong local business, not just the Mariner. Your city, your vote, it's in your hands. Thank you.
And you will be successful, right?
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Outstanding, yep. Thank you very much.
Questions?
Any questions?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Pumpkins, popcorn, and pumpkins.
Very nice voice you got there, Dylan.
Yeah, aren't they wonderful?
Nice presenter. All right. Anybody need time to collect anything, or the sheriff need time to get his stuff? Did you want to collect your thing before we move on? Your stuff, or? Don't want to trap you here. Looks like it's going to be a long meeting.
Other than the fact we don't live in a democracy.
Good thing we let you go first. That would have been a tough act to follow.
All right.
Okay. In the right place?
Yeah, but I think we're ready. Okay, now we're ready to move on to the public comment portion of our meeting. Residents are invited to come up to the podium. Please state your name and address and keep your comments to under 5 minutes. Is there anyone who'd like to come to the podium?
Andrew, 90 Maple, Algonac, Michigan. Thank you for creating a park next to the Mariine City Beach. For raising a building, creating a park. Thank you for the river view with the passing freighters. This is unique. But please, do not clutter it. Please keep it exactly as it is. This park is a treasure. It is the treasure that every other community envies. This park is well used. I come from Algonac 3 times a week, every week, all year. Friends and family visit at least 3 times a year, and they come from New York, they come from Pennsylvania, from Ohio, from Georgia, from Illinois. And when we come, we shop. We eat, we support the businesses because we are there to see the beautiful view. Where else do you see the freighters passing right by, coming up to, coming back from the beach? Please, keep this view exactly as it is, and thank you very much for creating a park that draws people to our area and keeps people there.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else that would like to come to the podium? Mr. Haas?
All right, Bill Haas, 203 Pleasant Street. Last meeting I talked about meeting someone, doing some talking, being able to use TIFA money to take some, put in an account, being it's kind of free money anyways, that we're getting back 2%. That money will always be here in the city. If they don't pay it and renege on the loan, then you put it on their tax bill, get it when they sell the house. With this TIFA also, from what I've noticed, put a little deal on, we got a lot of tree stumps around that are basically between the sidewalk and the street. Personally, mine at 215, I've been thinking about drilling holes in it, putting a little gasoline in it and lighting it. It's been about 6 years. It's gotta be pretty rotted by now. North Mary and Pearl Street, one house off the corner, it'd be the northwest. 2 big stumps, one house over another stump. Now you go up to North Mary and Holland. Again, we're on the north, and now we're on the east side of the street. That house has 2 big stumps. 3rd stump on Holland, which is iffy whose house that one belongs to. And then there's another house somewhere, private. I've only walked a little bit my section over that neighborhood. Just looking where they could be rented for a week. City can go through, somebody got one in their front yard that's actually their property. then maybe the city cut them a deal, cough up a few bucks, we'll hammer that one for you too. Another thing, don't, you know, I can get along with a lot of people, sometimes I'm pretty damn grumpy, but my neighbor, Mr. Hillfink, you know, the city sidewalk deal. Now, I've got a cousin, got cerebral palsy. Now, he's too damn proud to use a wheelchair or go on his deals. You yourself, you got a little kid. House next door, you use a rental property, garbage cement. Your little kid only gonna play in front of your house? You know, I mean, somebody don't want to fix their sidewalk, their responsibility. Now you're beating down the crippled people and people who might just be too damn proud. Just, you know, it's not good for the city. You know, I know you're somebody's on North William there, and the Hillfink family owns a house. You know, think your parents, but like I say, the homeowners, that's their responsibility. You know. All right, enough said with there. I think you know, that kind of stuff. It affects some people don't care. Another thing, talking with the woman that one day, we got 300 Broadway. That means when you get a time to actually think, talk, instead of just being angry all the time. Yeah, Friends of City Hall, whatever, started about 2005. Well, 2006, everything took a dump. So for half of these 10 years that we've been kind of lagging behind, spending money, wasting money, I can see part of a reason for what the hell's happened there. One of the other issues was the woman brought up their webpage for 300 Broadway, pretty much not up to date. Another thing is a lot of people are old. I'm old, but I'm not that old yet. You know, could use some new blood in there for those who don't have time. Oh, and my sister brought up, sent something to Lisa Hendricks and Elaine, the sidewalk program. She works in the big petroleum. You know, she's the one who got labeled with the, hey, this is how much your taxes is going to be. Yet she's sending things to the city on for low-income elderly sidewalk program repair. One of their petroleum outlet deals had to have some sidewalk deals done, and she was looking through. She read that, come up with that, and I think, like I said, you two got some paperwork to figure something about that out. The TIF of taking a loan, you know, like I say, just that money will always be there, 2%. Never going nowhere, always helping the city. Might as well take advantage of that garbage instead of four-wheelers, get something put away first. Like I say, never going away. The other thing, like I say, all this garbage here for a year and a half. My wife, she's been bitching at me about all this stuff. My kids, you know, want me to find a new hobby, you know. Beating down the city, be nice to your neighbors. You know, now I'd be nice. I got a couple issues, but anyways, to my wife, Lisa Haas, 24 good years, 8192. It's our anniversary. 8192. We're married. 24 years, August 1st. We're all good. Have a good day.
Anyone else that would like to come forward?
Hi, I'm Charlotte Foley. I live at 129 South Water Street. And I had called earlier about planting a tree for a friend that had passed away. And I think we were told that that wasn't possible, but maybe we could buy a bench or something like that. Well, we really don't really want a bench. And we just thought maybe it would be nice to put a tree up in memory of Nancy Heisler. Bill Heisler's been a lifelong resident of Mariine City. So we would just like to put up a tree. You know, I think the parks can use more trees. We don't need a plaque or anything like that, and we would be happy for you to choose the tree, though we would like it in Drake Park because Bill and Nancy were married in Drake Park. So we would like to put a tree up there, pay for it, to have it put in, as all the, you know, the friends of Bill and Nancy. So that's what we'd like to do, you know. Just pay for a tree somewhere, wherever you would like to put it, in Drake Park in honor of Nancy. That's it.
to the office about this, or is this the first you've heard of it?
This is the information that they sent me, and I sent you about that at one time, and you guys told me that they couldn't do a tree, and they thought the bench, and so I sent that information on, and
Yeah, we don't have an established program, but I think we can probably work something out.
Something out.
Yep.
You have the contact information and everything?
If not, I think you've been in communication with Mike, is that correct?
yeah.
Yeah. We'll get in touch.
Because, you know, I think that the parks could use a few more trees here and there, so I think there would be any harm.
Thank you.
Thanks. Do we have anyone else that'd like to come to the podium? Laura?
Laura Scotcher from 430 Water Street. Just wanted to let you know that River Rec Teen Zone is still alive and kicking. None of the kids are available tonight to come, but I did want to come out and represent them. Just tell you that they're going to be having a car wash this Saturday at Living Faith, which is the old Ward Cottrell School. It's a donation appreciated event, and hopefully they'll all be there washing cars. I hope everybody has dirty cars, and so if you can come out and support them, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thanks. Mr. Jenkins?
I just wanted to ask if the park pavilion was on the agenda next.
Yes. Yep. It's on under unfinished business. Number C. 9C.
9C.
Did you have anything to say to the commission tonight, or you just had that question? Did you have anything else to say? Were you going to come to the podium? Do we have anyone that would like to address the commission?
Mike Hilfrank, 218 Pleasant Street. No fancy speech tonight. Believe it or not, I'm here to talk about something really positive for the most part. If I thought any comment would make any difference regarding the sidewalk program or the increased water rates, I would prepare one, but it's not going to matter what I say up here. You guys are going to vote how you're going to vote. You're going to pass it, despite the fact that many in this community don't want it. But anyways, I'll leave it at that. On Indian Trail, there's I don't know how many people know, there's a really nice basketball court out there that China Township put in probably 2 years ago. And there's been a lot of people in the community that have been utilizing this basketball court for the past 2 years. And we have a Facebook page, Indian Trail Basketball, where we get together and get pickup games going. And about 3 weeks ago, it was brought up that why don't we get together a tournament and a barbecue type thing. Thought it was an awesome idea, so got in front of it. Got with some guys. Guys stepped up, volunteered to cook, volunteer a ref, bring some grills, things like that. We had $10 per guy entry fee. We had an amazing turnout. We had 9 teams, each with 5 or 6 guys on it. So it was about 60 plus people that we had out there on July 9th. It was an awesome community event. Something that I think, wouldn't be that hard for the recreation department to put together. The recreation department head was, up at the podium, I believe it was the last meeting, kind of grasping at straws to try to figure out how to make that program sustainable, how to get people to come to meetings, to figure out what they want, etc. It's not that hard. Just utilize Facebook. That's what I did. I mean, just get on Facebook, make some posts, utilize the city site. The city is still not making very many posts on that site. It's a super good resource, and it really needs to start being utilized. And I just want to say, how awesome that event turned out, and it was put out. I put out a flyer. It's going to be an annual thing. We're going to do it again next year. We had 9 teams this year. There's no doubt in my mind that we're going to get 12 to 15 teams next year. And it would be awesome to see some kind of support from the recreation department in that to make it as big as it can be. You know, possibly, you know, maybe sell, this year the hot dogs, hamburgers, and waters and stuff were all complimentary. They were provided. They were taken out of the entry money. You know, just an idea. Maybe we could sell them next year and get some money together, put a donation to the rec department or any other good cause. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there that you know, there are people, there are a lot of good people ready to step up in this community and do some really good things if they are supported. And I just encourage you guys to support that and me and everything that these people are trying to put together, and that would be great. Thanks.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the commission?
Are we going to vote? Are you going to vote on the bathrooms too tonight at the beach?
It is on the agenda.
Okay. Well, I'm the owner of 102 Broadway, the over the toe kick, and I just like to express my objection to the bathrooms and the pavilion on that particular piece of property. I would hope that you've looked at other options as to where to put it. A few years back, they tore down 3 houses there to make that park and to provide a view for everybody. That's one of the reasons why I kind of got into that building, was to live there and work there. And, you know, it's kind of spoiled the view. I went before the variance committee here when they had that meeting, and I didn't object to it if they were going to leave the setback. But when they move it up that close, that really takes away the view of the river. To me, if they would have put it back where it should be according to the zoning, then I probably wouldn't have that big of an objection to it. But that's all I got to say. I just would hope that you think about other places that maybe might be more better to put it, so that it's not going to obstruct the view of that area, the houses and the businesses that are in that area. Okay? Thank you.
Is there anyone else that'd like to address the commission tonight? All right, seeing none, we're going to move on to the approval of the agenda.